Good afternoon and welcome to Markets Today. I'm your host, Mbithe Mwema. We have a lot of exciting news set up for you. We'll be giving you an overview of what is happening on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. That aside, the Central Bank of Kenya today held a press briefing for the journalist community, in other words, the fourth estate, to discuss what was the uptake, what was the success rate with regards to the demonetization process that just culminated and ended in the previous month. That was the 30th of September. We'll be giving you an update of that and what impact we expect to see in the economy in the short term. We'll also be trying to give you a read through what has happened in Kenya vis-a-vis what has happened in India, what should you expect, and what are the possible industries and winners and losers off the back of this demonetization process. Over and above that, the quarter has just closed. That is the third quarter of 2019. We will be looking at the performances on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Who are the top gainers? Who were the top losers? What were the foreigners buying? What were they selling? And really, what should you be looking out for in the fourth quarter? Do we expect similar performance as the third quarter, or will it be worse? With us, we have Standard Investment Bank giving us an overview of this particular report. We'll be discussing this after the break. Now, let's come back to what the Central Bank of Kenya has actually put out today. With regards to the success rate, 217 million notes were in circulation as at the beginning of July. 209 million notes were collected by the end of September 30th over the 3-month demonetization period. For your own benefit, the Central Bank of Kenya did come out based on its mandate and instruction under the Constitution of Kenya, and it went out and collected all the 1,000 notes and printed out and pushed out new 1,000 Kenya shillings. The notes that it wanted to collect were 217 million based on what was in its coffers as at the beginning of July, but it was able to collect 209 million. In other words, 7.3 billion Kenya shillings is still out there, has not been collected. The central bank governor did equate this to the similar amount to what had actually been lost in the Golden Bag saga. With regards to the success rate, 97% is the scorecard that the Central Bank of Kenya got with regards to its demonetization process. We think that's certainly a very strong A, and it's very positive with regards to what has actually been reported. The key question, however, is this. There's always been talk that there's a lot of illegal money that is out there that cannot be accounted for. The fact that only 3% of the funds that are in circulation cannot be accounted for with regards to the 1,000 shilling note begs the question, is there actually illegal money out there, or has all of this been hearsay? India had a similar process and actually set the world rolling with regards to demonetization. It was able to get a 99% success rate while it collected the key denominations in the country. The key denominations that it collected represented about 86% of the money in circulation in that country. From the Indian story, the success of what the central bank equivalent did there in terms of 99% rate on its demonetization drive was good. But over and above that, a couple of things came out once this process was done. The economy did not grow as fast. The cash flow in the economy was not as sufficient as it was before this demonetization process. There were gainers, there were losers. The main losers were in the agricultural sector and in the rural areas, with this spaces that are highly dependent on cash. It took a bit of time for the new notes to actually be circulated in these areas. There was a slowdown to that, and these are the key economic contributors to the GDP growth. There has been a slowdown in GDP growth in India since 2014, with some economists attributing the slowdown to the demonetization process and the changeover of funding and actually the notes in circulation. The tax authorities were certainly big beneficiaries in India. The Reserve Bank of India was now able to account for each and particular note in circulation, and they were able to actually enhance their tax drives in that particular economy. And the final gainers were actually the mobile banking applications in India. Because of the cash crunch, then there was a lot of demand for mobile lending, and some of the companies in this economy actually went out and got more subscribers on their mobile wallets and were able to lend slightly more than they had lent in the previous regime when there was actually no demonetization. The question is, for us as Kenya today, 97% success rate with regards to demonetization. What implications do this have with regards to the money in circulation? Central Bank Governor again also said 149 million 1,000 new notes are already in circulation as we speak. In other words, almost half of what was in circulation with the old note is actually what is out. That would explain the cash crunch. Earlier today, I was actually in an Uber and asking the Uber person, what is happening with regards to your business? The sentiments that we are getting out there, either from the Uber, from the mama bogas, or really the people on the ground, they say like for the last month, actually the last 2 months, and especially in the month of September, cash circulation has not been rife. They've not been able to get their hands around money, and they suspect that it's the whole element of the demonetization. Suddenly, the FAQ suddenly explained this. 149 million notes in circulation against 217 million notes that were in circulation as of the beginning of July. The question is, at what point will the central bank ramp up and get us to 217? And more importantly, are they going to surpass this number? In other words, will they be injecting additional money into the economy that already seems or is seemingly grappling, at least at the bottom of the pyramid? So the key question for us today, 97% success rate, less than half of the money that was in circulation in July with regards to the 1,000 note is actually in circulation today. That explains the cash crunch. The fact is there actually black money in the market? Is there not black money in the market? What will the central bank do over and above this? We're always looking at the Nairobi Securities Exchange and trying to see who would be a potential beneficiary in terms of what has just happened. If we look at the case of India, we can see that the mobile lenders were actually very successful. When it comes to our own environment, we expect to see maybe slightly more uptake with regards to the mobile loans. Safaricom has its Fuliza product, KCB has its KCB M-Pesa product, CBA has its M-Shwari product. So there could be some beneficiaries with regards to this particular companies in as far as mobile lending is concerned, as well as also a bit of upside for the other about 40 to 42 companies that are also in that space. So expect a bit more demand for the mobile lending application, and that is if they're not curtailed by the central bank, which has actually be coming out and strongly saying that they are averse to the lending rates that are actually available on this particular apps. So there you have it. We will give you more details with regards to any analysis that comes through over and above the Central Bank of Kenya press release. That aside, the Nairobi Securities Exchange today has been a bit active. 8 million shares have traded in Safaricom. We want to take a recap of what happened in the third quarter, which ended on Monday. Who are the top gainers? Who are the worst performers? What were the foreigners buying? What are the foreigners selling? And more importantly, what is the volume in that particular period with regards to turnover? It looks like it's actually been getting worse from first quarter through to the second quarter through to the third quarter. What do you expect in the fourth quarter? Anthony is here with us, and he is a senior analyst at Standard Investment Bank. He will be taking us through his report, which outlines the performance of the Nairobi Securities Exchange vis-a-vis the Nigeria Stock Exchange, as well as his expectations for the fourth quarter. We take a short break, and as always, we are running live on our Facebook page and on our YouTube page, and that's Metropole TV. Not somebody next to you. Ask them to join us and engage with us on our Twitter handle. What are your expectations of what CBK has done? What do you think the NSE is going to do, and really, what more do you want to hear with regards to the investment news? We take a short break on the daily commodities. We will see you shortly.